All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, a site dedicated to legacy, death, and taxes. And today we're going to be playing some Maverick again. I think I last played it on Monday. I thought the deck felt pretty good. I think I ended up going 3-2, but it really should have been 4-1. I forget exactly what happened, but something interesting happened, and I didn't end up 4-1ing like I thought I was going to. But that's okay. So I've made no changes to the deck list. I felt like it was very good. The deck list that I played last time was just, I think, 2 cards off from Tristan Polzel's deck list from, I want to say it was MKM Paris. I added, I think he had 2 Fairy Macabres, and I think I changed them to 1 Surgical Extraction and 1 Choke, because I really wanted to choke people. Last time we played against 5 non-blue decks, so I didn't get to choke anyone. So let's see if we can do a better job of that today. Just in case you're not familiar with the general idea and strategy of Maverick, it's a Green Sun Zenith toolbox package that focuses on mana disruption via Wasteland and either Knight of the Reliquary or Ramunap Excavator. There's also a Stoneforge Mystic package here, and some other random value cards like Sylvan Library, Noble Hierarch to accelerate out this big stuff, Mom to protect everything. Historically, this deck hasn't changed too much since, I don't know, about 2014. Just a handful of additions. The deck's fun. It's great. Let's battle. Not a lot more needs to be said there. If at any point you have questions about the deck list, you can click on the Cardboard Live extension that is on the left side of the screen in order to go and check out the deck list. And you can hover over any of those cards to see what they do in greater detail. So I have mana, but I have nothing to do with my mana. Scrib Ranger doesn't really count. So, like, I can go... So I can go turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 have 3 mana, go Noble Hierarch and Scrib Ranger, bounce a forest, attack with a Noble Hierarch for 2. Yeah, I don't really know what this is actually going to accomplish. Begrudging keep, hoping my opponent is playing non-basics. Both the first and second hand here were pretty weak. Opponent is, in fact, not playing non-basics, at least on turn 1. That means this hand is basically unplayable. Rough. So, Gutshot the Bob, good morning, and thank you very much for subscribing with your Twitch Prime this month. I do appreciate your support here. What's a pirate's favorite fabric? Yarn. Alright, that happened. It resolved. Fool! I only have a Swords to Plowshares. My hand is still garbage. So it feels kind of like I'm playing against Ant, I guess. In which case, getting to 3 mana for Teague ends the game. But in case I'm wrong, and this is just something like Grixis control, I should just nug this right now. No, we just saw Volcanic Island. Yeah, so I'm playing against Ant. Alright, so now that I have this second green sun, I'm okay with using the first one to accelerate. And then next turn I can green sun for Teague, and we'll win game 1. That is unfortunate. We will not just win game 1 next turn. JK, we will anyway. Yeah, so when I played out the Green Sun Zenith for the Dryad Arbor, like, one of the things I was mentally thinking, but I didn't actually say, was, like, the only way this goes wrong is if my opponent gets a 3rd discard spell. Yes, and an important Magic strategy is to always have it. If you always have it, it is very difficult to lose. Pro tip. Opponent, you have no outs. What are you doing? Why? I'm so confused. Oh. So it looks like my... The texture of his plays here really seems to indicate Ant. But Burning Wish is from Tess, so I wonder if my opponent... What can this get? I guess I can just get an Ooze, mess with some of the Pass Inflame stuff. Otherwise, I could just get Pride Mage. And just accelerate my clock. Alright, my opponent has had enough there. So I guess we are playing against Tess, like, or at least some hybrid in-between version of Ant and Tess at the very least. The Bayou would be a touch weird for Tess, not like unprecedented or anything, but I just haven't seen many Bayous out of them recently. So I definitely want these. I could choke, but I probably don't want to choke. I could consider these, but they're all going to be medium. Alright, let's figure out what I don't want. I definitely don't want Swords to Plowshares. I definitely don't want all 3 pieces of equipment. I probably want to cut 1. I probably just want to cut Jete, because Sword of Fire and Ice can push damage through some goblins or give me protection from something like a Chain of Vapor or a Grape Shot. Scrub Ranger's kind of weak here. Robbot, thank you very much for resubbing, and I know, only 3 Thalia instead of 4, so it's a little sad. Like, Surgical's really medium. Choke's really medium. I don't want any of those other sideboard cards. Blech. maybe I take that, and I take one choke. Like, this card isn't really going to be good, but it has potential to do things. I think Knight of Autumn is insane. That card is super awesome. Like, it's going to be, relatively speaking, a strict upgrade to Reclamation Sage for decks like Maverick. So I'm happy keeping this. This is turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 Green Sun Fatigue. I'm kind of excited to get to muck around with Knight of Autumn. I don't know exactly what it'll do, but I'm excited to find out. Well, my opponent's hand was pretty sweet. So I'm not actually 100% sure that I'm dead, right? Play more slowly so I can count. So Rite of Flame puts this up. Oh, there was another LED there. Okay, yeah, I'm dead then. So this is Rite of Flame into Burning Wish into Double Crack for just tendrils. Yeah, so in a deck like Maverick, I would definitely consider a main deck Knight of Autumn. It does very similar things to the Qasali Pride Mage that's here. Like, this is still a effectively 3-mana Shatter effect, right? Or not Shatter, 3-mana Disenchant effect. So is Knight of Autumn, but Knight of Autumn is like random tutorable, bigger body, or it also like can gain life in like the matchups where you're just like really close to taking over the game, but you haven't quite stabilized yet. Varner343, thank you very much for sending your Twitch Prime money my way this month. I really do appreciate your support. It helps me to play more sweet Legacy on stream. So I really want to blow this up, but I can't do that this turn. But I can pressure my opponent's life total. And note that I value the 1 damage a little bit more than I value protecting the Qasali Pride Mage. Like, if my opponent wants to do something like do some weird Burning Wish, blow these up, I don't really care about that all that much. But, like, the lower I get my opponent's life total for ad nauseum purposes, the better. Ah, I see you have gotten the Massacre that I have played around. Well done, opponent. Alright, so now I have 3 mana. So I can cast Green Sun for 3, getting Gaddock Teague, and just stop them from casting that Massacre in the first place. We did it, chat! And so for anyone who was wondering why I just didn't play that Savannah on turn 2, it was exactly that. One of the things you learn from playing D&T for a long time is that in matchups where you suspect Massacre, if you can play around it in the first couple of turns of the game, you do so. Because every once in a while it wins you a game just like that. Like, I don't know what would have happened if my opponent had... Alright. So Pure Gosu, please stop coming into my channel and asking for stock picks. The next time you do that, you will be banned from my channel. That is not contributing in any meaningful way to anything. It's getting kind of annoying. Alright, so my opponent has played Blue-Red Delver and Black-Red Reanimator recently. Oh, every time that person comes into my channel, they start asking about the stock market, and it's gotten old. And Varner, I'm very happy that you're enjoying the Thraben University content. I'm working on a couple of things right now that I'm like part of the way through. No, in real life, I'm actually a Latin teacher. So with that, a thought. So like Underground Sea into Thoughtseize can be a lot of things. I'm just gonna take the mutual setback on mana. And I'll play out the land that they know about. So, like, they could be another Storm deck, they could be a Delver deck, I don't know exactly. Feels like another Storm deck. Feels like Wasteland is a great Magic card. Hey, Farish, welcome. This is my opponent pondering whether or not they want to brainstorm and potentially, like, brainstorm lock themselves out of this game. Yeah, so right now I'm working on a page that is going to describe the various flex slots of the main deck, like when is Crusader good, when is Brightling good, when is Sarah Avenger good, and things of that nature. It's gonna like take a little while to write, just because like there's a decent amount there to work with. But I should be getting that done in the next week or so, I imagine. Yeah, the Maverick versus D&T matchup is slow. Oh. Didn't really expect that Daze there. Am I just playing against, like, the world's shittiest Grixis Delver draw? Or is this like random ant with days, which is a thing? It is indeed. Well, I guess it doesn't like for sure mean that, but huh. Yeah, it looks like just a super shitty Grixis Delver draw. So I probably just want to clock my opponent quickly, which probably just means playing a Pride Mage. It can attack for 3 next turn. I guess I should do this in the other order because I care about this one more. Knight is a sweet draw. Notably, it can't be Force of Willed right now due to Gaddock Teague. Womp womp. Bye, buddy. So this just plays around like a double daze from my opponent. It's probably like 99% not necessary to do so. Womp womp. Yeah, this is one of like the most anemic Grixis Delver hands I've ever seen. Like, my opponent has looked at a lot of cards and not found a threat. This is probably a Gurmag Angler. Interestingly, if my opponent doesn't have another threat, they can't really attack. because this race is not one that favors them. I'm currently attacking in for 4. Well, that's not bad. If my opponent has their 4th lightning bolt, I would die for not blocking. If they have a fatal push, I could get punished for blocking. They have to have something, or they would have just not attacked. This is still worth the 5 life next turn. If they have push, and I block, this gets pushed, and then I get hit down to 5, and then I've kind of got 2 draw steps to answer this. If I don't do this, and I equip an attack in, my opponent just takes it. I'm going to go ahead and take this. Farish, let me take a look. Alright, I didn't play around the 4th bolt, and I got super, super punished. Farish, I see a donation in my email box. I will take a look at that in between games. Or, sorry, Master, I see that there, and I'll take a look at it in between games. Sorry about that. Alright, so I want paths. I want chokes. I don't want Teague. Most of the rest of my cards are sweet. Army of Thalia, thank you very much for your continued support. And I know you like what's going on here. So this isn't the best Sylvan Library matchup, and this isn't the best Kusali Pridemate matchup. All good. I'm just hungry for that mono black control. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about that. I need to make one more cut. I guess it can be the Scrib Ranger, but like Scrib Ranger plus Knight is pretty gross in this matchup. Maybe I'm supposed to trim 1 Thalia. I could see that being reasonable. So Doug, my opponent is a Grixis Delver deck, not a Grixis control deck. Despite how bad their like hand was that game, they were still a Delver deck. So Army of Thalia. Last time I went 3-2, but I really felt like it should have been 4-1, and then I'm up one match today. I won my first match versus Storm, and now we're down one game in this one versus Grixis Delver, but I feel pretty darn good against Grixis Delver as a whole. This is a fine hand. Okay, so what am I doing? I don't think I'm going to be playing around Wasteland this game. I'm going to have, like, Scrib Ranger to do so. And I have a lot of land. So I'm just going to fetch Savannah here and play out a mob. If my opponent tries to Wasteland me on any turn except this first turn, I'll have a Scrib Ranger surprise for them. Excuse me. Let's trade resources. Oh no, opponent. No more lands for you? That's a damn shame. Do I have one more Savannah? I do have one more Savannah. So to preemptively start growing Knight, I'm actually just going to fetch now. And I'm just going to play this on my turn before I can get dazed. And now my Savannahs are protected. My opponent feels real dead. I am fine with just jamming this into a daze, because if my opponent dazes, they're very far behind on mana. And my top decks are extremely live. Who's there, Master? Hey, Arkin. All right, you got me, little girl who. I don't know what I expected. Goodbye, big fish. This isn't actually that big of a deal, though. An annoyance, certainly. But it's not all that scary in the grand scheme of things. This true name can't actually attack with the batter skull around. And my batter skull is not currently vulnerable to removal due to the mana that I'm holding up. Jackstar, I am currently... Oh, that's annoying. I am currently 1-0 in matches today. This is our second match. All right. Show's over here. Nothing to see, folks. And we are 100% killing Liliana the Last Hope. We're not going to mess around with that. So my opponent does have things that could make my life annoying. Like, they could have something like an Abrade for the Sword of Fire and Ice. They could, like, push the Germ token and get some tempo. I'm going to leave this Wooded Foothills uncracked. There's some world where I might want to fetch up a Dryad Arbor eventually. In case of something like a Marsh Casualties, I don't really want to play this out. I'm just going to pass here. Yes, I would definitely play Blue-White Red Stoneblade on stream. I think that deck is off and on again good. Like, in a lot of metagames where there's small creature-centric decks, just having an infinite supply of, like, cheap, efficient removal spells is really powerful. It's not a deck that I've played in quite some time. I've played a lot of Blue-White Stoneblade recently, but not much Blue-White-Red. All right, Master, that one was pretty good. You get 1 Thalia for that. Oh man. So Master, you donated for 7 deck lists? Wow. Thank you so much for that. I was like going to like take a look at what was going on here in between matches, but that is That's big. Thank you very much for that. You really do want to see that mono black control, huh? All right, we will make the mono black control stream Monday's stream in honor of your greatness. I'll have to do some work on it this afternoon. Maybe we'll do a little theory crafting today after we're done playing Maverick. So people say they're going to do things, but they don't always do them. And you did. Yes, confirmed straight gasoline. 100% agreed. Yeah, Master, you probably earned yourself 2 mono black control streams for that. Let's be real here. That deck's so fun anyway. I will have to change the donation queue goal. Yeah, I'll do that right after this match. All right, so my opponent has brainstormed. I do need to race this Delver, which probably means getting Stoneforge Mystic for a piece of equipment going. All right, my Thalia has been bolted. Now what? You can Thoughtseize and take my Jete. Now I'm just hoping to draw something like a Path to Exile. That would be ideal. Oh, please don't have like Gurmag Angler too. I am a mid-20s male with relatively low costs in my life and excess income. And god damn it, I want to watch somebody play Mono Black Control and try to beat people to death with Vampire Nighthawks like a good, hard-working Legacy player should do. Yes! Everything's gonna be fine, chat. And my opponent does not have Force of Will and blue card. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So I'm not just going to jam this here. I'm going to take out 2 of my opponent's lands. I'm going to take them off of black for Gurmag Angler. Because that's a card that really could matter on this board. And it's something that they might have kept with Ponder. So Grand Arbiter, prior to the bannings, I was working... I had trolled the chat on April Fool's Day with a Mono Black control deck featuring Vampire Nighthawk and Gifted Aetherborn as lifelink or death touchers. And then we did a 4-1 with the league, and everyone wasn't quite sure whether or not I was joking at first. And then I played it a second time, and it was a lot of fun. So now that Deathrite Shaman's gone, I can actually do some of the things I wanted to do with it, and we can play a an Unearth engine in the deck that might be pretty good. Bitter Blossom. Well, that ain't bad. So I can play Noble Hierarch and Wasteland my opponent this turn. Then next turn I can tap 3, play Reanimator Excavator, and try to Wasteland them again. Which seems fine. Again, I'm going to try to keep them off of black for threats. So between my attackers and their Bitter Blossom, their life total is actually in some amount of jeopardy. Alright, Master, I'll bite. Who's there? Armageddon who? Diabolic Edict. Okay. That's not really doing a ton currently. I'll sacrifice my Stoneforge Mystic if my opponent chooses to cast it. But they may just fetch it away. And they're sitting there thinking about it, because if they fetch it away, then they're just going to lose their last colored source. Armageddon tired of all these lands, but I have so many more lands. It's like one of the judge's side jobs, right? Is make all these terrible jokes. It's very necessary. Alright, so my opponent does decide that they want to fetch it away. They've gotten red here. A top deck Lightning Bolt would be extremely good for them. They are very much in danger of dying to Bitter Blossom. Like, they can't take another hit from, say, like the Ramunap Excavator, because they would just die. Alright, Abrade was an incredible top deck there. Luckily, Knight of the Reliquary is as well. Alright, so I can go 3, play Knight, attack my opponent down to 2. They'll hit me. Alright, so what are they going to hit me to? I don't know how many creatures they're going to attack with. They're going to go down to 1 life, so they might not be able to attack with everything. Okay, I actually should just attack with my Stoneforge first and, like, see whether or not they block. Alright, they will block. So I guess I should play this land so my Horizon Canopy does not get wastelanded. If my opponent attacks with the Fairy Rogue, they will die. Like, if they attack with the Fairy Rogue that can attack, they will die to a removal spell on the Fairy Rogue that is on the board. Alright, so they've identified that, and they're leaving back multiple blockers. Do I need to get Dryad Arbor for any reason? If I get Dryad Arbor, it just gets wastelanded. And that wasteland is doing my opponent no good, so I actually probably don't want to get that. Swords of Plowshares is awesome. How do I want to use it is the question. Because I could just Swords of Plowshares a Knight and gain a shit ton of life. I can fetch to 2, activate Knight, get a Wasteland, blow up Volcanic Island. That'll put... So that would gain me 7, 8, 9 life. I'll force a chump with a Stoneforge this turn and play a Mom. Yeah, that seems very good. I guess I can float some mana to play around a Spell Pierce, too. want to abrade my Stoneforge Mystic? That's fine. That does not matter. Yep. I will now gain 10 life. Dear opponent, can you do 12 damage to me this turn? I do not think that you can. Yeah. That's the achievement for killing them with their own Bitter Blossom. All right, so I don't want to show you this entire message chat, but I do want to show you something. Oop. Just the proof. There's a snippet from my PayPal receipt. So we're going to get to see some Arena Rector Nickfit, some Esper Stoneblade, and some Red Prison. Hot diggity dog. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So let's make some changes here. All right, where's my followers text? Let's update that. Oh, sorry, I missed that comment before. Death Shadow is a strategy that is quite powerful, right? It's a strategy that has kind of like taken over Modern in various forms, and it is a very aggressive clock, but one that requires some setup. With Deathrite Shaman gone, the Delver decks lost one of their primary threats that they've been using for the past, what, like 2 or 3 years? So it's very reasonable that like something needs to come and take the place of it. I think the recent builds of Shadow are much better, relatively speaking, to the rest of the metagame than Shadow has been in the past. So yes, I think we're going to see Death Shadow for quite some time in various forms. I mean, Master, you're the one with the PayPal money here. You're making the calls. I will probably email you after the stream, and we'll start to work out some of those details. I'm happy to do some of the research and tinkering for the deck lists, or you can help out with that as well. I'll be kind of in contact with you about that. So, for anyone who has tuned in the last couple of minutes, hello, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University, and today we're playing some Maverick, which is a green-white deck, kind of conceptually similar to Death and Taxes, that instead plays a Green Sun Zenith Toolbox package. Yeah, so Negator, I got a large number of donations from Felchmaster 9000 in chat there, and he really wants to see Mono Black control, so he just like donated through the queue to get up to that stream goal. So Arkan, I don't know if you saw it, but I actually did a piece with I think it was Julian, Bob, and Anurag about that. It was the Legacy Premier League pregame show from this week. All right, we are playing against one of the greatest Magic players on all of Magic Online, the notorious EW Landon, Reanimator player extraordinaire, who was on the play against us and takes no play. I'm going to play a forest and pass. So Arkin, the short version is I think people are going to mess around with. I'm not going to play as Caracas. I do not want to show him that I have Caracas because I think his plan is hard cast or like hard discard a Grizzlebrand. So I need to throw away one of my cards here. I'm going to throw away Stoneforge Mystic. Arc and short version, I think Assassin's Trophy is going to be pretty good. I think that there are going to be a lot of decks that want to mess around with it and see if it's any good. The real question will be, like, what can you do that's better than what you're already doing? Like, where is this going to be better than Abrupt Decay? How far can you go and push this card to its limits? There's a lot going on there. Aha! I get a Stoneforge Mystic. So, I think Assassin's Trophy will probably be slightly worse than people think it's going to be, but I still think it will be a real player in the metagame. It will make some of the bug decks a little bit more competitive than they were previously. And it will give decks like Maverick and Jund more efficient answers to Jace, which is pretty huge. Unmask targeting me. I accept. Yeah, TCM, I think that's, like, realistically how Assassin's Trophy is going to be played. I think Abrupt Decay decks are going to, like, run something like a 2-2 split of, like, Decay and Assassin's Trophy for the flexibility, because the cannot be countered portion of Abrupt Decay is not to be underestimated. Gamer Champ, the pre-order price is very high, but this isn't unexpected, right? Like, Abrupt Decay did the same sort of thing. That card started out, like, very, very cheap, and then I don't think it went to 30, but I think it went into, like, 20 or 25 pre-order before kind of, like, going back down a little bit. So, long-term, I don't even know if it'll be that high, the Hackbert, because the rest of the set is going to be stacked, right? It's going to have, like, fetch lands and such in it. And in those sets, it's really hard for a rare card to maintain a super high price tag. So this is sweet. My opponent has put me in the situation where, because I did not bounce the Grizzlebrand with Caracas, he can just Cabal Therapy and sacrifice the Grizzlebrand in order to take away something in my hand, which is awesome. This is why EW Landon wins so much, in case anyone was wondering. So I don't know the rest of his hand, but it seems like Sword of Fire and Ice is the important card to take, because with another land in my hand, I go Stoneforge Mystic, activate, equip Sword of Fire and Ice to Quasali Pridemage, and then I am presenting lethal. But it's possible he has more discard spells, or it's possible he has the actual card Reanimate, which could reanimate a knight and buy some time. Alright, unmask himself. Alright, there's the Ashen Rider. Animate dead, targeting the Ashen Rider. Not bad. Oh, Eric, why? That's so awkward for me. Because now I really need to blow up this Animate Dead to get the Ashen Rider out of the way, but then I'm going to lose another permanent, probably the Caracas for doing so. This is sweet. Alright, Eric. I bite. God, are you going again? Fuck. So I believe that if I destroyed the Animate Dead before the creature comes back, its trigger that it makes resolves still, and so it would both enter and leave, and so I just lose 2 anyway. I'll have to check the ruling on that in between games. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend to know like the exact text of Animate Dead because like it's always printed differently. All right. Oh shoot, I might have been able to stop that. All right, so that forces me to move. So now this Ashen Rider probably comes back and eats my Batter Skull. Goodbye, Batter Skull. This was way more interactive than I expected game 1 of this matchup to be. That's for damn sure. Probably need to get this out of here. And then I just need to find an answer to Ashen Rider. I'll let my opponent discard a bunch more creatures. Come on, Swords to Plowshares. Nope. Swords to plowshares, not swords to plowshares. Does Umezawa's Jitte do anything here? I can play Stoneforge in a land. I won't be able to crack the land. It actually does, like, Jitte actually does not do anything here. It is unfortunate. Thalia probably doesn't do much either, but it's at least 2 power. Okay, what if I draw a green sun next turn? If I draw a green sun next turn, I can only green sun for 1, so Thalia doesn't actually matter in that capacity. I also just learned that the EMA symbol is the MM 2015 symbol flipped inside out and rotated 90 degrees. Huh. I did not know that either. Dead. Womp womp. So close. I get to attack my opponent to 1. I couldn't fetch my Dryad Arbor to do that last point of damage. Alright, so we'll take this stuff and the O-rings, in all likelihood. Seems like Teague isn't going to do anything. Ramming up Excavator's probably slow. I probably want to cut most or all of my Stoneforge Mystic package. I'm not about that life. Scrib Ranger for multiple night activations in 1 turn can be important, so that I can get like both Caracas and Wasteland someone, so I might end up keeping that. See my mom's being a little bit less important here. I think I'll submit something looking like this. This leaves me with 19 creatures. Alright, this is fine. Is this good enough? I can turn to double path to exile. I can turn to Knight for Caracas. It doesn't have a surgical. I think this is not good, but acceptable. Like, it plays around 1 opposing creature pretty well, especially if it's not Grizzlebrand. And we're going to fetch rather than just play Horizon Canopy, because I want to preemptively grow the Knight as much as it can. This Canonist is pretty good. It means I can probably handle whatever my opponent does next turn with just Path. So I have to think about how I want to do this. Like, I can play Canonist, attack for 1. I can play Canonist, hold up Path. I can play Canonist, I can hold up Wasteland. I think I want to push the 1 point of damage. Because if my opponent puts in 1 creature, I can always just, like, play something else on my turn, Path on their turn. So there's not actually all that much lost by not holding up the Path. So I'm going to do that. And I think I'm going to do it by taking damage off of my Horizon Canopy to not show the Wasteland. Is this just Gaia's Cradle time? Kind of just feels like Gaia's Cradle time. Or I can just fetch to make them very big. So if I go get rid of Savannah and fetch, I turn my knights into 5/5s. Yeah, I can just have lethal next turn if I just fetch a fetch. Very, very easily. Now my opponent's turn, if they don't do anything, I can just Scrib Ranger. Leshnorn. That is not a big deal. I do not care about that. Oh, Lake of the Dead. Hello. That's a lot of mana. Grave Titan. Alright. So I take out the Elesh Norn. Now I take out the Grave Titan. And my opponent's figured out what's going on here. So I get to attack with both knights. They are obligated to jump block both. I wasteland Lake of the Dead. Herp-a-derp-a-derp-a-derp-a-derp. Sort of fortunately for me, I did not show my opponent my graveyard hate. I mean, I'm sure Eric knows that, like, I'm going to play Surgicals because I'm not going to play Rest in Peace due to my own graveyard's energy. But, like, it's just one of those things that's kind of nice. I need to learn how not to be angry inside. Yeah, it's hard sometimes. Alright. Is this good enough to keep? I can go turn 1 Green Sun for Dryad Arbor, turn 2 Knight, or turn 1 like Swords to Plowshares threat, and then one of the other options. I'd really like to have a Surgical in my opener, though. What do you think, chat? This feels like it's fine, but that my 6-card hands are probably going to be about as powerful. Do I just ship this one? Just try to find a Surgical? Yeah, there is an Ooze. So, like, Green Sun can find that, but I can't do it anytime soon. Alright, 2 votes for keep. Okay, so if I fetch Dryad Arbor, my opponent will probably put a Leshnorn into play. If I don't, well, actually, they still might put Grizzlebrand into play and then try to draw into a Leshnorn. I think I should probably just hold up Swords to Plowshares. Alright, there goes the Swords to Plowshares. Presumably. Oh no, the Thalia is gone. Opponent does not have another mana. That is awesome for me. Now I can Wasteland, take them off of the Badlands, fetch a Savannah, and then actively use this to accelerate myself now safely. So I can play a 4/4 Knight of the Reliquary here, which can then fetch up Caracas and invalidate either one of the threats that's in the graveyard. And I really like tapping out to do that. Because then on the following turn, I can do, like, play Canonist to put the shields up. Okay, so I can now Green Sun for Ooze while holding up a bunch of stuff. Awesome. And I'm just going to hold up. Actually, no reason. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up. I don't need to take my actions yet. If my opponent puts like a reanimation spell on the stack, I will. Alright, so just to talk through the rest of this turn, if my opponent just passed, I'd float, or no, I'd just sack my forest, get a Gaia's Cradle, make 4 mana total, eat Grizzlebrand, Norn, Faithless Looting, and then like just take out one other random card. We did. We beat the EW Landon after making a mistake. I definitely made an error that made me lose game 1, so pretty lucky to still take down one of the masters. All right, Maverick feeling pretty good this afternoon. We did, like, all of these have been 2-1s, but I feel like this deck has a lot of play in the current metagame. So, like, I know you can take a look at the deck list at any time via the Cardboard Live extension that's on screen, but just to, like, pull it up so I can point to some things. I just feel like this is just a solid assortment of cards with some amount of sort of like tutoring and selection in this as well, with a couple of value-based engines, and that feels pretty good in the current metagame. I like the sideboard of this deck a lot. Like, it's just good, solid Magic cards. And most of these aren't very narrow, right? So they have sort of wide application in a lot of different matchups, and that's where I like my sideboard cards to be. Super excited to like throw a Knight of Autumn into this deck list. I'd probably start with it in the main deck just to try it out there, but otherwise, like, I might take out my Pithing Needle and put that in there. Unsure exactly. Gamer Champ, I think Renegade Rallier is a card that is playable in Maverick. But my question is always, like, is Renegade Rallier just better than Ramunap Excavator? And Crucible Snake has been awesome for me. I've loved that card. So I think the answer is no. The Hackbird. That's dirty. Renegade Rallier into Standstill? That's adorable. I like that a lot. So Rob, what's going on there is that this deck can be a little soft to early show and tells. So it's not only easier to cast, but it's also just another thing you can put in off of show and tell. Because, like, unlike D&T, you don't have things like Flicker Wisp and Palace Jailer to put in. Alright, what do we got? Presumably, Force of Will for the win. Has played Merfolk, Miracles, and Sneak and Show online, but I don't have any data for them since, like, a year ago. So I'm just going to keep a solid hand in the dark, turn 1 Hierarch into turn 2 Knight. That beats on a lot of Legacy decks. With a name like Force of Will for the win, I hope he's playing Red Prison. Don't we all? Opponent was F6'd. Could still be Red Prison. Well. Opponent, if you have non-basic lands that you care about, JK Dredge. I'm so sorry, my Dredge friend. I know you're here, trying to do these sweet Dredge things, but I'm going to stop them. Okay, so I actually probably want to do it like this. Get my Cradle here. Then go... Yeah, my opponent's done with me. Indeed. You scoos, you lose. So I don't actually know whether my opponent is Mana Dredge or Manaless Dredge. I'm going to assume that since they mulliganed their Mana Dredge, like Manaless almost never mulligans. So these are things that I'd consider. Yeah, confirmed disgusting, right? That was just absolutely gross. All right. This is probably not a Ramunap Excavator matchup. I can probably cut one piece of equipment, so I'll probably cut this one. Like, the equipment package just isn't really where you want to be. Scrib Ranger, kind of weak. Gaddock kind of weak. Pride Mage, pretty bad. So the merits of Scrib Ranger are that I can just, like, flash it in as a, like, flash blocker to try to, like, get some bridges out of there. So if my opponent is manaless, then we needle Phantasmagorian. If my opponent is not manaless, then we needle Cephalid Coliseum. Teague does stop Breakthrough. I guess that's a consideration. So I kind of want to play these libraries just to, like, dig for surgicals. If my opponent is manaless, the Teague is better than if they're Mana Dredge. Yeah, the Hackbird. I could see that. Like, Mom isn't really that good. It's just, like, kind of an early blocker that can, like, maybe invalidate a couple of attacks. And I don't hate having access to one in the deck. But it's pretty medium. The Pithing Needle is also a little loose. Alright, so my opponent played first. They are Mana Dredge. my opponent keeps their hand, I will probably mulligan this away. This is very average. I'd much rather have... now that my opponent's mulliganed... I still probably ship this. Like, Cradle's really good. And double removal spell's fine. But I'd rather... Like, since I have 2 games to win with sideboard cards, let's see if we can find them. With 1 more land, Green Sun would get me an Ooze. Ooze is really good. I can turn 1 Pithing Needle, Cephalid Coliseum, or Wasteland them. This is probably good enough. Like, it technically has a piece of Graveyard Hate. Like, I like this one better than the last hand. This is definitely worth considering mulliganing. Thalia's tough. Thalia's really tough. Because if I play it, I get further off from Green Sun on Ooze. So if I put Thalia on top, I actually probably want to Green Sun Zenith on turn 1 for a Dryad Arbor, and then play Thalia and Wasteland on turn 2. I don't know that that's actually good. I think I'm going to bottom that. It's just like too awkward with the game plan I want my hand to do. All right. So by playing Noble Hierarch here, I can just guarantee that next turn I can get Scavenging Ooze. We'll see if it's fast enough. If this Golgari Thug hits well, it's not. Fuck. 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 Super, super punished if my opponent is a good player. So this puts them up to their 7th card in hand. They can crack their LED for blue and Cephalid Coliseum. Which, now that like they see my Wasteland, they 100% should do. Oh, there's a Street Wraith, too. Oh, there's a Narcomoeba. We'll get the flashback on the therapy, and we'll get the prized amalgam. Some things have gone wrong. I indeed do feel pretty dead. Yeah. Like, in good news, my opponent does not have a bridge from below yet. In bad news, my opponent has 3 flyers, a prized amalgam. Oh, wait, no, there was a bridge. Yeah, now, like, the rest of my hand is just gone. If I naturally drew Scavenging Ooze, I could use it to, like, eat the bridges and, like, try to hold ground in that way. Okay. Okay. How many Icarids are there? There is only one. No, there are 2 Icarids. Can I still win this game in any way if I surgical? Because I really don't want to show them the surgical while they have Nature's Claim boarded into their deck. if I surgical the Icarids, those bridge from belows are still probably going to beat me eventually. And my opponent already has 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 power in play. I think I'm going to go ahead and concede here. Yeah. So I don't think I want to change anything about what I'm doing here. This is probably still fine. Seems like my opponent has a different play draw configuration. If they're not just auto whacking submit. Oh, maybe not. This is unplayable. This is a little rough. I need a second land, but it's certainly a keep. Green Sun goes to the bottom. All right, so much for that surgical. Opponent confirmed big brain. Fuck. All right, that was a pretty weak dredge. Please no. Don't do it. Just miss. Fuck. Fuck. Chat, some things went wrong this turn. I'm just gonna throw that out there. A lot of bridges in the graveyard that I can't do anything about. Is there an Icarid in graveyard? There is an Icarid in graveyard. So, how am I winning? I think I need my opponent to bring back this Icarid, and I Swords to Plowshares it, so that my opponent can't sack it or just let it die at end of turn. There are 2 Narcomoebas gone, so there are only 2 more that my opponent can hit. Do I need another mana, or can I afford to just hold up the Swords to Plowshares? I would love to put a Noble Hierarch into play. I don't know that I can afford to. If my opponent mills a Narcomoeba and I don't Swords it immediately, triple bridge is a huge problem for me. So I can, if I Thalia, they will get 3 zombies, but then they can't cast any of the therapies. Maybe that's not the end of the world. Oh yeah, like walking ballista for 0 would make this a non-game for sure. Actually, maybe 3 zombies aren't so bad. Well, I can't surgical because of the silent gravestone. I think I'm gonna need more mana to win. And I think I'm also gonna need something that can help muck up these prized amalgams that are gonna be a problem. Oh great, do more Icarids. Alright, my opponent is going to get to make infinite zombies, and I can't do anything about it. Playing the Stoneforge Mystic doesn't really accomplish a ton. So I need to play Thalia. Then my opponent can't Cabal Therapy. And then I'll Swords and Icarid. Alright. So my opponent is going to let me get rid of their bridges, which is actually huge for me. So I just block here, I let my Hierarch die. I'll Swords the Plowshares and Icarid. Actually, I should probably just Swords the Plowshares and Amalgam. I don't care if the Icarid keeps coming back if all 4 bridges are gone. Prized Amalgam is just bigger. Okay, I think I win this one now. Yeah, opponent 100% punted with their attack. I didn't really think we were going to get this one. Alright, opponent did just take a natural draw there. And that's my opponent conceding. Who said the 5-0 dream was dead? Which one of you said that? Because we definitely just got there. Yeah. Yeah. This deck's pretty decent. Alright, folks. I do want to take a minute to thank my two sponsors. Card Hoarder, for lending me these sweet, sweet cards that are letting me play Maverick right now to what is hopefully going to be my next 5-0. And I do also want to thank Cardboard Live. If you're a streamer and you're looking for something to really improve your streaming experience, I really do recommend the Cardboard Live extension. I'm absolutely loving it, and I hope you all are as well. With that commercial having been finished, I'm going to use the restroom before we go into our next round here. I will be right back. Yes, we are now past the chair stream phase of this stream. Now that I actually have a be right back screen, I'm starting to figure out some of this back end stuff a little bit better. Let's see, what did I miss? Yes, Felchmaster 9000 is definitely an honorary sponsor for the next month. He has funded what? So he funded 7. So that's what? Like 2.5 weeks worth of streams plus a couple of the bonus streams as well. So he basically funded my next month worth of streams, which is huge. Really, I do appreciate that so much. And hopefully we're going to turn this into a 5-0 to celebrate that. So I'm going to email Felchmaster after this, and we're going to start to work out some of the details of that. So I think I might actually work out a stream calendar and say all right, here's when I'm doing what, so that people can kind of know. All right, what do you see? Oh, I do. Aha. Sorry, I didn't have my email up. Boop. Thank you very much for your donation, and yeah, we will definitely be playing some Blue-White Red Stoneblade on this stream. By the way, on the list of decks that I don't want to get paired against, that deck is pretty high up there. Playing against Blue-White Red Stoneblade as D&T is rough. So much removal, so much True Name, so much Jitte. Did we just play against this player? I swear we played against this player earlier this stream. No, it must have been a previous day. I don't remember what they're playing. Regardless, I have a solid hand. I'm just going to keep it. Oh god, that was that was a strong one. Yeah, I haven't gotten around to testing your active authority tech. Oh god, is this the Terribles Miracles player that I ended up losing to from the other day? I think this is the Terrible Miracles player. I'm gonna choke the shit out of this guy. We have 3 of them in the sideboard. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm excited. Let's get our 5-0 with choke. So I kind of just want a green sun for 2 for Teague, but I don't want to do that yet. I want to do that once I can also hold up Caracas. So let's just play a sword. I don't want to deploy a second threat into a potential terminus. Get him! Get him, Teague! Snapcaster. Oh, please, please Swords to Plowshares my Teague. Please Swords to Plowshares my Teague. That'd be sweet. Alright. Not quite that bad. Is Miracles really that bad of a matchup? I imagine that would be closer to 50-50. Like, you've got, like, Teague, Sylvan Library, Chokes. Seems conceptually fine to me. Alright. Remember when I said that was going to happen? Maybe Terminus is on top of my opponent's library, and it is a play that makes sense. Nope. Just... Alright. Are they gonna, like, play a Jace, bounce my knight? Sure. So I could Swords, Snapcaster Mage, play Knight and Teague. I'm not gonna Swords now. If my opponent tries to bounce their Snapcaster Mage, I will do it then, though. So I feel like that's a common thing when you're just like somewhat casually watching something, right? Like when you're not fully engaged with the game and you go like, oh, this, then you go like, oh, that was stupid, that. Like even as like a player, like when I'm streaming, a lot of times, I miss things that I'd never miss in real life just because like I'm not 100% engaged. If, I'm not sure I understand. If they fetch, can't we just jam a win, or is that too greedy? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Oh, I see. Yeah. It's irrelevant because it looks like my knight is going to die anyway. Uh, the Cardboard Live extension should be up. Try refreshing if you do not see it. I can see it on my screen. Is it not working for anyone else? I don't think my opponent's last card is Swords to Plowshares. Okay. What does this green sun get? I can just get, like, Ramunap? If I tap out? Oh, no. I can't cast this right now. So I'm pretty sure my opponent's last card is not a Swords to Plowshares. So I think it's fine to take that risk there. Because I'm pretty mana hungry, and a handful of my draws are going to put me into situations where I really need all of my mana. So, for example, like drawing something like a Sword of Fire and Ice, or like Ramunap Excavator, where I want to like play it, crack Canopy, and still have a chance to like draw another Swords to Plowshares or something. I think it's fine. Okay, Sword of Fire and Ice is a bad example. So, like, 2 Swords to Plowshares are gone. If my opponent had another Swords to Plowshares, they would just, like, use that and save their Snapcaster for more flexibility later. So, like, I'm pretty darn sure they don't have Swords to Plowshares. Okay. You can bounce that. Now what? Okay. So is this just a desperation play? Alright. I'm gonna cast this. If my opponent is trying to, like, force the Gaddock Teague, then this kills the Jace. Alright, predict target themselves. Okay, so, oh, maybe they actually set up a Terminus, and it was the second card down. Alright, then let's get this. Goodbye, land. Nope. Shuffle? What? Okay. I should stop trying to, like, figure out what this opponent is doing. Like, it clearly didn't work last time either. Alright. Cast Vendilion, click. Target themselves. Sure. Scrib Rangers Pro Blue. Huh. Oh, they did target me, and the arrow just pointed towards them, I think. Oh no, alright, it did say targeting me. Alright, do you have Force Blue card and somehow a Magical Spirit Guide too? You do not. Note that that was an opportunity for me to use Green Sun, but I just don't think anything I can Green Sun for is better than shutting off Terminus on this field. Yeah, unless I recognize their name, I'm not scared of many, many, many Miracles players. I agree. I don't think I need to play out this bomb. I don't really want to give my opponent the chance to, like, Swords Gaddock Teague into Terminus away everything else. Yeah, I mean, I 100% know my opponent plays back to basics because they mised me with it last time we played. Target Brainstorm. Sure. That's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and bounce my Teague here. I really care about that. Then they can take Vithalia. And they don't have, like, Force of Will stuff available. Nope, they have voted for my Scrib Ranger. Sure. guess they think they can just, like, buy time with jump blocking. Which I guess is not incorrect. Do I want a green sun for anything? I can green sun for an ooze right here. So I could go cast. I could go 2 for Teague, 1, 2, 3 for green sun for 2, but not hold up an ooze activation this turn. Which I guess is fine. Or no, my own Thalia. So Teague's 2. Green sun for 2 would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. No. So let's just cast Teague. I want another white. Let's get my second basic planes. Let's play Mom. Good job. Yes, show me your back to basics and then concede. Beautiful sequencing. I want those. Probably that too. I know that my opponent has Keranos in their deck as well, by the way, chat, just to throw that out there. I said I wanted to choke someone, and on Monday I did not get to choke anyone. So, let's get them. Alright, so what's bad against this deck? Against my opponent's, like, Keranos and Vendilion clicks, I guess, like, Scrib Ranger is not the craziest thing. I probably don't want Gaia's Cradle. Like, I think in most circumstances, I'm going to be losing a fair number of my creatures to opposing removal. It's also a non-basic for what that's worth. I need to make some trims. I don't think I actually want to, like, necessarily cut anything entirely. Jissei's a little weak. Mom's a little weak. Hierarch's a little weak. Scrib Ranger and Ooze are a little weak. I like the idea of keeping Ramunap in the deck so that I can, like, Ramunap Horizon Canopy as a draw engine. I think I'd probably just, like, trim some of my 1-drops. I think I'd probably, like, trim a Mom, trim a Hierarch, like, just, like, trim some of the stuff that aren't standalone threats. Actually, no, I don't want to trim a Hierarch. I just want to, like, be able to choke on turn 2. I also want to keep Scrib Ranger in the deck because it can let me bounce my Savannas because of Back to Basics. So this hand has 2 Sylvan libraries, so I keep. I think I'm fine with using this as acceleration. I don't think I need to save it for Teague. Maybe I want to. Like, it's just so good to have extra mana if you library. I'm playing mindfully due to back to basics rather than fetching for Sylvan Library. Like, if the Sylvan Library resolves, I'm going to find plenty more fetches. This requires a counterspell. Oh. I guess a Council's Judgment or Disenchant effect could work too. This is not a card you let stick around. Am I just going to get to library? That would be cool. Alright, there is the Disenchant effect. Do you have a Snapcaster for that Disenchant? No, you have a Jace. Dear Sylvan Library, please find Oblivion Ring, Heartfill. Although, honestly, I'm somewhat likely to just, like, slam my Gideon this turn, even if I do find O-Ring. I'll have to think about it. Yeah, choke would be pretty sweet. One way or another, I want to play a big Haymaker card this turn. Alright. Opponent ticking down the precious seconds in a matchup that is somewhat likely to go to time or close to it. Seems unwise. Two, four, six. So this will be 8 in hand. Do I just want all of these? I want the Thalia. I guess the second green sounds okay. I don't think I need this other land, though. I'm gonna put this other land back. I'll pay 4 life for this one. Second Thalia can go back. Third green sun can go back. Hardcast Force of Will, maybe? That's fine. Best draws are like Choke, Pithing Needle, Choke, Choke. Otherwise, honestly, what we have is pretty good. Like, with a land, I can Green Sun for a Teague and play Thalia as well. That's a problem. Oh, hey, WD40. Thanks. That stream was a lot of fun, and I'm glad you actually get to catch me live today. So I'm not in the market to pay 4 life anymore. Kind of want to shuffle these away. I'll do so with Green Sun, though. So I don't want a Green Sun for Teague. I want my opponent to be able to Terminus away their Mentor. So I'm going to set up my Ramunap Horizon Canopy engine. Or alternatively, I can just gum up the board this turn. But the shuffle's kind of important. Let's get a Knight. Just kind of invalidate the Mentor from attacking. I am currently 4-0 WD-40. Alright. They got rid of a Swords to Plowshares. That card seems really good in the face of a Green Sun Zenith, though. Alright, maybe they knew they had the Force. Well, if you're going to mill a Swords to Plowshares, I'll get rid of my Thalia. That's fine. So for anyone wondering like what kind of impact Assassin's Trophy could have in Legacy, for decks like Maverick that can splash green, or sorry, that can splash black very easily, the ability to just take a Jace off the board is super, super important. So right now, I think Green-White Maverick is just better than the other variations of Maverick. But once that card comes out, the ability to just take this out while being super flexible and having the ability to answer everything else, that's probably going to be huge. Alright, so my opponent does have a Mentor. Does that change anything I want to do? I don't think so. Like, I had so many opportunities to just take over that game, but I just kind of drew clunk. Like, both of my Gideons didn't resolve. I had, like, the Ramunap and all the Green Suns all at the same time. I couldn't really do anything with them. That was a game where I really needed different pieces of my deck. I think people will try Shardless again, because Shardless Agent into Assassin's Trophy is pretty stupid, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will work. Turn 2, choke. Keep a Reno. How greedy is Phil? Do I just, like, snap through this Pithing Needle on Flooded Strand? Because I'm thinking about it. Because if I choke my opponent, they probably can't resolve a Jace ever. Like, I kind of just want to decrease the chance that they will go into a counterspell in the next turn. That's probably too greedy. My opponent plays Flooded Strand right here. Let the record show. Alright. Would have been wrong. %100% going for it here because I have Gideon to just slam on the following turn anyway. No, just resolved. Alright, let's try this again. It didn't work last time. Let's see if it works this time. That's a volcanic island that doesn't get to untap unless my opponent has disenchant. They are the Gideon brothers. They have that commander keyword tandem. When you draw one, you tutor for the other. Ooh, buddy. Ooh, buddy. I don't know if they can taste it. They might not be able to. Their mouth's kind of a little occupied by this here choke. Oh god, yes. Yes, ponder with your island. And shuffle. Yeah! Trophy. That's the 5-0. Finally got to choke somebody, and card worked as expected. I played it, and then I won. It took a couple of turns, but it did its job. Yeah, sweet revenge confirmed. Okay, so quick kind of recap on this deck list. I don't think I'd change any cards. I almost want a tireless tracker in the deck, but I don't know what I'd cut for it. Like, tireless tracker seems pretty strong, but if I cut it, I'd probably want to get rid of the second library, and I don't know which one of those things is actually better. I feel like it's very close. Don't let this distract you from the fact that in 2018, Army of Thalia said RIP 5-0 Dream. Yeah, so I think that's a choice. And I kind of like the second library, despite how much, like, I'm in love with Tireless Tracker. That card's just, like, super, super sweet. Very, very powerful. Especially given, like, the Knight of the Reliquary, Ramunap, Excavator sorts of shenanigans that you've got going on in this deck anyway. So I don't think I'd make any changes if I were to run this back. Alright. So, for anyone who wasn't around at the beginning of this stream, I received a very large donation from Belchmaster9000 that is going to get me to all of my current donation goals. So, what that means is I'm going to be playing some Mono Black Control. I'm going to be playing a Mangara of Corondor Ensnaring Bridge deck, And I'm also going to have to do a Infect stream with Nick Miller at some point. These are things that will happen. There are also going to be 7 queued up donation deck lists from Felchmaster, as well as one other from, was it Army of Thalia that did the other one? So there's going to be some sweet things coming. Yeah, okay, so for anyone who wasn't around before, let's just like take a look at what I was doing with this. All right. What did I call these? MBC. So here was the general idea before. We were a mono-black control deck that used Vampire Nighthawk and Gifted Aetherborn as flying lifelinking, or as like Death Touch lifelinkers as removal. You couple this life gain with Lash Ride so that your swamps end up fueling this thing, and you can, on turn 4, you can play it, pay 4 life, equip it, get all that life right back, and then present a stupid big threat. So I'm going to need to update this deck list now, which is going to be a lot of fun. So one of the things that I thought would be really good before is, but like it just wasn't right for the metagame, is I thought that, what's it called? Unearth would be really good in this deck, because you have these sweet creatures here that are very, maybe powerful isn't the right word, but they're very annoying in different ways. So bringing them back on the cheap seems pretty cool. Jazzy, yes. My deck list that's at the very top of the deck list page on Thraben University is accurate. If you don't have Chalice of the Voids, playing Aethersworn Canonist in its place is probably acceptable. So I'm going to have to make some changes to this. I think that Liliana the Last Hope is probably really good and probably should be in the main deck. I probably want to trim some number of the Lash Rides. Like, it's still a very, very sweet card, but, like, you don't want to draw it early. You want to, like, have your Thoughtseize and Hymns and stuff like that early on. So this is the sort of thing that's coming. So I'll probably, like, cut 2 Lash Rides for 2 Lily Last Hopes. I might cut, like, 1 Fatal Push for 1 Unearth. Maybe 1 Phyrexian Arena for a 2nd Unearth. Do something like that. Maybe drop down to less than 4 Obliterators. Like, 4 drops are a little expensive. But, like, those are going to be, like, the sorts of things that I'm thinking about. And then the sideboard will be just, like, a handful of, like, very hateful things. Like chains, some extra removal. I'm going to have to, like, sit down and, like, actually put some thought into what exactly I want to do with this deck list. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So the first time that I play this will be Monday night, in all likelihood. Probably Monday night. But here's the thing. Roanoke is going to get some absolutely killer, maybe literally, weather in the next couple of days. So we're going to have some serious rain, like to the point where it might cause flooding. And if it causes flooding, I'm going to go and play a lot of Magic. And we'll see what we can do with this mono black control list. It should be sweet. All right, so I think that's all I've got for you this afternoon, folks. I really hope you enjoyed this 5.0 content with Maverick. Again, my name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and I want to go ahead and thank my sponsors, Cardboarder and Cardboard Live, for making today possible, and I also want to thank those of you who subbed and or donated today to support my channel. And if you really like what I've got going on here, whack the follow button so you see when I go live with all of this shenanigans and many, many more. And if you really like it, consider doing a donation deck list or subscribing to support my channel. I will see you all sometime again soon. Goodbye and good luck in your matches.